Ladies and gentle gamers, welcome back to Be Determined. Today, I'm going to be going over the brand new fishing outpost update that is currently on the alpha and just give kind of a general overview of all the new stuff. I'm not going to go too in depth on all the drops and everything. I'll save that for when the update comes to the main server. But if you guys want to see that video, make sure to drop a like on this one, smash the sub button if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So the first thing you'll have to do whenever you join onto the server is go over and talk to this fisherwoman Enid. She has a bit of a quest line that you have to do before you can actually access the majority of the rest of the map and the brand new island, which we'll get to shortly. But as you can see here, this is what the new fishing outpost looks like on the main side of the server in the hub lobby. So they did change how the river flows down here, and they've got a couple new buildings and NPCs to talk to. There's this one NPC over here, Gwynny, who will tell you about different fishing stats with fishing speed, sea creature chance, and the brand new treasure chance, which didn't used to be a stat. Now you can measure exactly how much treasure chance you have. And they did add some new types of treasure, the outstanding treasure. I have yet to see anyone catch any of these, which most people are fishing for sea creatures, so it kind of makes sense. But if there are actual good drops from the outstanding loot pool, then it might really be worth it to fish for that. But in order to get to the new island, you have to come over here and talk to Gerald after you've done the other NPC's quests over at the waterfall, and he'll ask you to catch a fish part, or a ship part, I mean, to upgrade the captain's ship. So you come over here and talk to Captain Baja after you've caught the ship part, and you can upgrade the ship navigator here, which when you right click it after upgrading it, you have access to the new fishing island, the Backwater Bayou, which as you can see lets you fish up junk, apply rod parts, fish up new sea creatures, and learn about hotspots. And when you teleport over, you can see this is the new island. It is kind of small, but as you could tell by the navigation map here on the ship, it looks like they're going to be adding a lot more of these smaller fishing islands in the future. Only time will tell, but hopefully we'll get some at some point. But the first thing you want to do is come over here and talk to Junker Joel. He's basically going to explain that you can catch junk by fishing for treasure, and to make sure you catch junk when fishing for treasure, you'll have to go over to Rhodey here. So Rhodey is the rod mechanic, and Joe will have given you one of these junk sinkers to apply to your fishing rod. So you throw your fishing rod in here and you can apply a junk sinker, which makes all treasure found while fishing be replaced with junk. And you'll also notice there is also lines that you can get and hooks. So basically what this update does is add hooks, lines, and sinkers, because we all thought the forging update was next. But it doesn't cost money to apply the different items, it just costs money to take them off. And if we open Centauri, you can see there's quite a few. Currently there are 4 hooks, 3 lines, and 8 sinkers. So the common hook increases your chance to catch common sea creatures by 25%. The hotspot hook increases your chance to catch hotspot sea creatures by 100%. The oasis hook increases your chance to catch oasis sea creatures by 100%. And the phantom hook increases your chance to catch spooky sea creatures by 100%. Then there's the lines, which give extra damage and ferocity, extra fishing speed, or extra double hook chance. The sinkers, which materialize chum in your inventory whenever you catch something, give you a chance to catch gifts during the season of Jerry. Increase fishing hotspot bonuses, increase your chance to catch winter sea creatures, turn treasure into junk and give 10 treasure chance, give extra prismarine shards and crystals whenever you catch things, give extra sponge when you catch things, and give a chance to not consume bait. But the one that kind of stands out are the ones about hotspots. So hotspots are these new things that can appear in water or in lava, either in the bayou, the hub, or the Crimson Isle, that get different stats when you fish at them, and also let you catch some brand new sea creatures. So in regular water, you can get either sea creature chance like this one, or fishing speed, treasure chance, or double hook. And the same thing goes for lava, but you can also get trophy fishing chance from those. But like I said, fishing in hotspots gives you access to some specific sea creatures. So let's take a look at what the new ones are. There are 10 new sea creatures that you can catch specifically in the bayou, 4 of which are from hotspots. And then there are 4 other sea creatures that you can catch in hotspots, but only on the Crimson Isle. So these are the bayou sea creatures, which you can see their fishing skill requirements are pretty low when you first start off, and they get higher as you go on. They do drop different materials, which are used to craft different items, including a couple of talisman upgrades, which I'll go over in a moment, and also some other less important things like the orbs that you need to make bobbin time. But those are the ones from fishing in the bayou. These are the 4 that you get from fishing in the Crimson Isle. So the fried chicken you can catch at fishing level 14. So you can catch sea creatures a lot sooner on the Crimson Isle now than you used to be able to. The Fireproof Witch is available at fishing 16. The new Fiery Scuttler drops the Scuttler shell, which is pretty important. We'll talk about that one in a moment. And finally, there is the Ragnarok, which I spent a while trying to catch one of these. This is now the highest fishing requirement on the server, with a fishing skill 47 requirement, and it can only be caught in hotspots. So its requirements are higher than Javis. Unfortunately, I don't think its drops are really worth it. These are his 3 drops: the Brimstone Handle, the Chain of the End Times, and the Burnt Texts. The Burnt Texts would be pretty nice if it didn't reduce your fishing speed by 25%. The 5 double hook chance is a pretty powerful boost, but 25% fishing speed reduction is pretty significant. Then there's the Chain of the End Times, which increases your charm level up to level 6 on your fishing rod. And the Brimstone Handle, which is used for a single craft, the upgraded version of the Soul Whip, the Flaming Flay. It does significantly more damage, gives a pretty strong amount of strength and extra ferocity, and its ability makes you heal 1% health for each enemy that you hit with it. It requires the Brimstone Handle, the Braided Griffin Feather, the new Hotspot Water Orb, and the new Lava Water Orb, which you can see the materials for these. I think the water or the Lava Water Orb has existed. It just had a different name, I think. And the Hotspot Water Orb is the new one that you get from catching the different sea creatures that are only available in hotspots. Again, I'll do a more in-depth guide on what the new items are and what drops them and how you can use them whenever this comes to the main server. I'm just trying to do a general overview for now. But you may be wondering what you actually use the junk fishing for that I was talking about earlier. Well, you can talk to Junker Joel after you've gotten all of your junk acquired and all of that stuff, and you can actually get some pretty decent items. Some of them are not as great as others. I think these go into the museum. I know the backwater set does, but I think it does require this new equipment set with it, which does increase your damage dealt to sea creatures, but once you're a later game into fishing, that's not really that significant. There is a new talisman line, the Junk Talisman, Junk Ring, and Junk Artifact, and that is one of 3 talismans, I believe, that were added in this update or adjusted in this update. I'll talk about that again in a moment. There's also the Travel Scroll to the Bayou, the Gold Bottle Cap, which increases your luck with the sea level, the Bronze Ship Engine, which grants fishing wisdom when attached to your ship, the Speedy Line, and the Stingy Sinker. And finally, the most important thing I think that he gives, the Hermit Crab Pet, which you can upgrade at Cat. I believe that's the only way to level him up, past common at least, is to go to Cat, and eventually you'll get him to Mythic. But to get him to Mythic, you will have to get that drop from the sea creature I was talking about earlier, the Fiery Scuttler. It has a 0.2% chance to drop the Scuttler shell, which is required to upgrade the Hermit Crab Pet from Legendary to Mythic. But as you can see, he gives some decent perks. He's mainly meant to be a treasure fishing pet, so he grants extra fishing speed when catching treasure, gives you higher chances of getting better treasures, gives extra treasure for every other hermit crab within a certain amount of blocks, and increases your chance of catching hotspot sea creatures. That's the only perk I think of his that is actually somewhat decent aside from treasure fishing, because catching these hotspot sea creatures is going to be a grind, especially for those of us that are going to be trying to max out these bestiaries as fast as possible. He is going to be very important for doing so. But as I said earlier, there are 2 other accessories that got added on top of this new junk talisman line, which aren't actually additions, they are upgrades of previous talismans. So we already had the Bluetooth ring, now we have the Bluer Tooth ring, which gives negative and extra speed compared to the Bluetooth ring, and an extra negative intelligence, but does deal double damage compared to the other one if there is a Blaze Tech ham radio or if there are other players on the island that you're on. But the upgrade is pretty expensive, and you may have noticed some of the items that are required for it going up on the main server already. You do need blue rings, which are a drop from one of the new sea creatures. You need a blue gift talisman, 16 blue shark teeth, and a blue Jerry talisman, which most of these items are locked behind time gates, so they're pretty expensive right now. And the other item that is upgraded is the fried frozen chicken, which is an upgrade of the frozen chicken accessory, and it requires 2 stacks of fried feathers, a drop from the new hotspot sea creature on the Crimson Isle that you can catch at fishing level 14, and 2 stacks of enchanted blaze powder and 2 stacks of enchanted glaciite. Now, those last 2 accessories do upgrade to epic, which means if you recom them, they go up to legendary. So there are 2 brand new enrichment available accessories that you can get. Now, one thing you're probably going to notice immediately upon logging in is if you're on your private island, Jerry has some deliveries. If you had a decently full museum, specifically some fishing rods in your museum, you can go to your personal deliveries and get a bunch of them back, because every single one of these rods used to be in the museum and is no longer there. So all of these rods no longer give SkyBlock XP. I lost like 50 XP from this, but thankfully they have replaced it. They added 1 new weapon, which is the upgraded version of the Soul Whip, the Flaming Flay. They added a new armor set, and they also changed the Angler armor set. The Angler armor set does now have an equipment set that you can get from one of the NPCs in the hub at the outpost. So you have to get all 8 pieces of it now before you can donate it. But there's also that backwater armor that we saw at Joel the Junk NPC, and I'm guessing that set also will require the equipment setup on top of the armor. But if we go to rarities, there are 20 items that they added into here, and every single one of those items, other than the salmon hat, is going to be from the new update. So there's the junk rod, the hotspot radar, which is very useful. It tells you where hotspots are, and you can make this with bronze bowls and broken radars, which are drops from the new sea creatures. But then there's all of the sinkers, all of the hooks, and all of the lines as well. And every single one of them gives at least some SkyBlock XP. They did also add this random thing, the Umbrella, which lasts 5 minutes, costs 50% of your mana, and grants 5 trophy fish chance to everyone within 30 blocks. So that's also a free item that you can get now to get some extra trophy fish chance. They did also add the Tiki Mask, which is dropped from the new Wiki Tiki, which you can only catch at hotspots in the bayou at fishing level 40 or above. And it gives some sea creature chance and grants buffs when fishing in fishing hotspots. So it's definitely going to be better to use than the Magma Lord helmet, at least for water fishing, and I think even for lava fishing. They did also add 5 new fairy souls, which I found all of them at this point. I'll show them all when the main update comes out. I'll make a video going in depth on everything that was added, but Hypixel did also announce maintenance for this update is going to be happening on March 18th at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard. It should take about 4 hours, so not too long of a downtime for a full island update. And before I end the video, I did want to go ahead and show, even though I wasn't able to get footage of fighting the new toughest sea creature that just got added, tougher than Jobus, one of my viewers did. So shout out to Llama for sending me this footage. As you can see, it appears that there are some danger zones that you don't want to step in when fighting this boss. It's like on the same level as a Blaze Slayer or something like that. Plus it has a ridiculous amount of health. I think it's 150 million HP. So it's going to be a lot harder of a fight than Jobus, even if the drops aren't as good. Until then, that's everything I've got to cover today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, again, make sure to drop a like, smash the sub button if you haven't already. On our way to 30,000 subscribers, and if I had Red Name, getting into Alpha would be a lot easier. I wouldn't have to wait past 700 people in queue. So pretty please, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Have an amazing rest of your day, and God bless.